Hello, friends. Welcome to your yoga class. My name is Jenny, and this is a restorative yoga practice. So, if you're unfamiliar with restore, it's going to be a pretty mellow pace, slowed down, where we use props to support the body to get into deeper stretches. So it's really good for taking time to just kind of tune inward, kind of tending to the body, tending to the mind, tending to the soul. And for class tonight, going to switch things up a little bit if you've been practicing with me for a while now. For the first half of class, well, first of all, the theme that we're going to be working with tonight is mindful engagement. So if you practiced with me yesterday, the Core and Restore class, we did this with some micro movements, really engaging in those core muscles. And the idea is to mindfully engage the body to bring safety and stability into those larger movements. And since the Restore class, we're not doing power poses, we're not getting into warriors, we're not doing anything crazy like that. So there isn't a lot of engagement. The idea is more to release and relax. But we will be doing some moves where some mindful engagement is encouraged. And I want this theme to kind of translate off the mat as well to how we are mindfully engaging with the world around us. So, there's a lot going on, especially this week, this year, 2020 continued, 2020 2.21. So we want to be able to stay informed, to know what's going on in the world, and to mindfully engage with social media, with news outlets, with people in our lives or in our worlds that have maybe opposing views. And we want to be able to mindfully engage so that we're not letting those things take the driver's seat, that we are being aware of what's going on, but then we're kind of taking that step back to make sure that we are reacting the way that we really want to with that mindfulness. So that's kind of a little bit of a theme that I want to play with. So as far as the physical practice, the first half of class, we'll move through a few mindful poses, getting some deep stretches that will have a certain level of activation. So pay, attention to the cues, but know that I give lots of different options in every single pose as a way for you to explore, to find what feels good in your body today. Don't feel like you have to push yourself to the furthest one. Don't feel like you have to go as deep as you can into every single pose. Listen to your body, check in, be mindful with how you're engaging with your body throughout your practice. And then in the second part, the second half of class, we are going to settle into a deep relaxation with a Yoga Nidra practice, which is a guided meditation. It's one of my favorite forms of meditation because it works in that kind of in-between space of the conscious and the subconscious. So kind of where lucid dreaming happens, but it's much more intentional, much more mindful. And because we're playing in that space, it's not uncommon to fall asleep. And the good thing about this, and why it's one of my favorites, because I am notorious for falling asleep during meditation. I have literally fallen asleep sitting up meditating. So that's how good I am at sleeping. But even if you do fall asleep, your subconscious is absorbing it. The core of who you are is still hearing what is happening, is still listening to the visualizations, listening to the guidance, and interpreting that and integrating that into the body, into the mind. So know that even if you fall asleep, that's totally fine. Even though you consciously may not remember, what happened, what was said, what you felt, all those things, know that it's still working on that kind of underneath subconscious level. So that's what I got planned for you. As far as props, you are probably going to want to grab a few props. So one thing is yoga blocks, or you can use a book or two, something similar to this shape and size. These can be used to kind of bring the ground closer, to bring a little support, fill in space. And we're going to want something similar to this shape and size, or we're going to get into a pigeon pose where I want it to be nice and supported, but again, I'll give lots of different options. In that, you may want to grab some blankets. I usually have a smaller blanket for a cushion, maybe a little lift, and then a larger blanket that we can roll up, kind of use as a bolster if you don't have one of those. So you can also grab bolsters, cushions, couch cushions, pillows, like meditation pillows, anything like that. You may also want to bring in an eye mask or something to kind of cover the eyes when we do get into the Yoga Nidra, because it does ask that you settle into stillness, and we want to be as comfortable as possible so that we can kind of get more into the internal workings and not focus so much on fidgeting around and getting comfortable and all that stuff. So take a moment to gather your things and then meet me on your mat. We're going to start lying down. So take your time to get here, and we don't want any props for this first pose. So you can clear the props off the mat, have them close by, and then start to find your way down towards the ground, mindfully setting yourself down, turning the palms down towards the earth, pressing into the fingers. Find some length in the spine, allow the heart to open, shoulders to relax and release. The toes can turn out. You're welcome to close the eyes. And slowly start to find your breath. Allow the body to release, to relax. Starting to connect to the breath, feeling the rise and fall of the belly. We're just taking a moment to settle in. Setting aside your day, setting aside your to-do list, and just really allowing yourself to settle into this moment. Starting to check in with the body, noticing how it's feeling today. Continuing to use the breath to explore the body. And then as you feel ready, we're going to start to find a crescent moon shape in the body. Little homage to that. We've got a new moon coming up tomorrow. So we're going to find a little engagement in the core to support this movement, some mindful engagement. So draw the belly down, hug the ribs in so you have that support of the core. From there, use that strength to gently lift the right leg and step it out towards the right. And then with that same mindful core engagement, lift the left leg and step it over towards the right. So it's following that right leg. And maybe do that a few more times until you find a position that feels good for you. You can even end with crossing the left ankle on top of the right. So we've got this half moon shape in the lower body with the legs. So we're getting a stretch, maybe you feel it down through the psoas, into that outer hip, and feeling it down into the quad. Take just a moment here, noticing how this is feeling in the low back. As we lengthen through the left side of the body, there's going to be a slight contraction through that right side. And then if you want to take it a step further, nice and slow, pressing into the back of the head so that we can lift the shoulders and shift the shoulders over towards the right. Pressing down into the shoulder blades so that we can gently lift the head and shift that over towards the right. Maybe taking a few more rounds there. The hips are staying down on the ground so that we end up creating this crescent shape with the upper body as well. And then if it would feel good for you in the shoulders and in the chest, you could start to raise the arms overhead. You could even bring the right hand to grab the left wrist to kind of create that full side body stretch here. So it looks like this. Oh, you can't even see. Kind of like this whole shape, but lying down. So shoulders stay connected to the earth, hips stay connected to the earth. As we open up into our crescent-shaped moon. As I said, we've got a new moon coming up tomorrow. New moons have a more gentle energy than full moons. And this is the new moon of the season, of the year. And this one gently whispers to us, you can do hard things. And right now it seems like just navigating everyday life is a challenge, is a hard thing to do. So know that you can do hard things. And that the energies around us are there to support us. The universe is here to support us. And it's through our mindful engagement with the world, with those energies, with ourselves, that helps us to do those hard things. Continue to connect to the breath. Just a few more rounds here, getting this nice side stretch. And again, if any of you practiced with me yesterday, this will feel really good in those obliques, maybe up into the shoulders. That's where I'm feeling it today. And if you're interested in that class, it is saved on this same site, the same landing page, Core and Restore, Sundays at noon. Awesome work. As you feel ready, we'll come out of this nice and slow, very mindfully, starting by releasing the hands back down alongside the body if they were raised. Pressing down into the shoulders to gently lift the head, shift it back towards center. Press into the back of the head to gently lift the shoulders, shifting them back to center. Take as many moves in the upper body as you need to get back to plumb line. Then finding that mindful engagement in the core, drawing belly down, hugging ribs in, starting to step the left leg back towards center, uncrossing if it was crossed. And bring the right, taking as many mindful steps as you need to bring the body back towards midline. Take a few rounds of breath here, just noticing the difference that you feel on each side. Maybe you feel a little longer through that left side. Connecting to the breath, feeling into the body. When you're ready, again, find that mindful engagement in the core, belly drawing down, ribs hugging in. Use that strength to lift the left leg and step it over towards the left. We're just lifting it a few inches off the ground. And then raising the right heel and stepping it over towards the left. Take as many of those gentle small steps out towards the left as you would like to create that crescent shape in the low body. And you could cross the right ankle over the left if that feels good for you. Pausing for a moment here to feel that side stretch through the outer hip, down through the leg, maybe even down into the shin, the outer shin, maybe into the ankle. Staying connected to the breath. And then if and when you're ready to bring the upper body into the party, gently press into the head to lift the shoulders, shifting them over towards the left. Press the shoulders down to unweight the head and gently lift and shift towards the left.
Take as many of those as you would like to create that crescent shape in the upper body. And then again, staying very mindful if it would feel good in the shoulders to raise the arms up and overhead, creating that full side body stretch. You could even, again, grab the right wrist with the left shoulder, or with the left hand. The hips stay connected, sits bones grounded. The shoulder blades and shoulders stay connected to the earth. If the arms are overhead, don't feel like the hands have to touch the ground, especially if you have tighter shoulders or shoulder injuries. If they don't touch the ground and you would like to, you can fill in the space with a prop. Slide a blanket, stack of pillows, anything underneath the arms for support. Opening up through that whole right side of the body, getting that full side body stretch. And remembering that you can do hard things. Breathing into that space you're creating in the right side body. Three more rounds of breath here. And then as you feel ready, just as gently and slowly as we came in, starting first by releasing the arms back down alongside the body if they were overhead, nice and mindfully setting them back down. And then pressing into the shoulders to unweight the head, start to shift the head back towards center. Pressing into the head to unweight the shoulders, shifting the shoulders back towards center. Taking as many of those little mindful shifts, finding that engagement to support, to get the upper body back towards plumb line. And then drawing the belly in, hugging ribs in, finding that mindful core engagement to start to step the right foot back towards center. Letting the left follow, taking as many steps as that takes for you to get back to plumb line. Pause, feel, breathe. When you feel ready with that core, little bit of core engagement, start to bend the knees one at a time, pressing the bottoms of the feet into the mat. And then shift onto one side of the body, gently pressing yourself up. And we'll come to a tabletop here. Now you may want to bring in a little medium-sized blanket to kneel on. A little cushion for the knees here. Spread out through the hands. Find a position for the hands that works best for you. We often hear bringing the wrist directly underneath the shoulders. But if that doesn't feel good in the wrists, walk the hands forward. Take them out wider. Maybe even play with the turning out or turning in of the wrists to find what feels good for you. Knees are underneath the hips or a little bit wider as we lengthen through the crown of the head, lengthen through the tailbone. And then slightly draw the belly in so that we've got that little bit of core engagement here, that stability in the core. Then without losing that engagement, move through some cat-cow. Inhaling to tilt the pelvis down. The belly's going to lower, but we're not disengaging, so we're not just dropping that weight down. We've got that core support, little mindful engagement there. And then exhaling to tilt the pelvis down as the belly draws in and up, starting to tuck through the chin, rounding out through the shoulders. So nice and slow, taking a few rounds of cat-cow with that mindful engagement in the core. So it's not really aggressive here. We're not trying to build a six-pack through this, but we're just bringing in some stability through the pelvis, through the low and mid-back, and using that engagement to mindfully move through our cat-cow, this articulation through the spine. Fantastic work. When you're ready, find a neutral spine. With that same core activation, start to circle through the hips. These could be as big or as small as you'd like. When you're ready, just reverse the direction of those circles. Awesome. When you're ready, we're going to come back through our tabletop and we're going to set up a pigeon pose. Now I'll give you one option to do a single-legged pigeon, and if your body's like, not working, then I'll also give you an option for a reclined pigeon or a figure four.
So ideally, if you have a bolster, that is the ideal way to do this. I did not bring my bolster, so I do not have that with me. So I'm going to have one block for underneath my hip and then one block placed at the front. You can use any combination of props here. You could fold up a blanket. In fact, let's do that. I'm going to take my larger blanket and roll it up to kind of create a cushion, kind of like a bolster. So if you have a bolster, that's how you'll set it. So then we're going to bring that right foot over the bolster and then start to toe heel the right foot over towards the left. And we're going to bring the right knee forward so that we're coming over that bolster and then setting the hips down on that cushion, the pillow, whatever it is. Let me scoot back just a little bit. All right, now from here, we're going to slowly start to reach that left leg back. And we want to maintain a nice squaring through the hips. So the right toes are flexed back. And there's a common cue to bring the shin parallel to the front of the mat. Not everybody is built that way. Mine's definitely not. So I bring my right heel further back. And then that activation, our mindful engagement, we're drawing the right hip back, left hip forward so that we have a squaring of the hips and there's kind of a lift. And we're also engaging Mula Bandha or root lock, the same muscles, the muscles in the perineum, or the muscles that activate when you're holding in a flow of urine. So we've got that lift of the pelvic floor here. So we've got this support underneath the hips so that we're not going too deep. And then I like to have a block or two in front of me to bring the ground closer so that I can either play up in king pigeon, a little more active back bend, or I can start to bow forward, bringing my elbows towards the blocks. The blocks just bring the ground a little closer so that I don't have to go so far, so too deep too soon. You can, gently start to make your way, if available, the elbows down towards the ground, but that's not necessary. This can be pretty intense on the hips and on the knees. So an option, and one's not better than the other, just different ways to explore, is coming onto the back, knees bent, extending the right leg up, flex the right toes back, externally rotate, so turn the right toes out towards the right. Bend the knee, cross it over the left knee. And then you can stay here. We're still getting that stretch on the outer right hip. You can draw the knee in towards the chest.
So we've got our figure 4 on the back if you'd like,
or we're in our supported single leg pigeon.
Find the breath. In whichever position you find yourself in, notice if you're holding any tension in the neck, in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the tongue, around the eyes. If you're in our single-legged pigeon, notice if you have disengaged that activeness in the pelvis, that lift of the pelvic floor, the squaring of the hips. That's to help support the joints so that we're not just dumping all the weight into our hip joints, putting excess and unnecessary pressure on the right knee. So again, we're using that mindful engagement to help us safely hold this pose, to settle into stillness. That doesn't mean that we've collapsed down into a dead pigeon. It means that we are mindfully engaged. This is a pretty intense stretch on that outer right hip. Just notice where you're feeling it. I'll take a few more rounds of breath here. When you're ready, nice and slow, starting to make your way up and out of your single leg pigeon, or gently uncrossing the legs if you're in your figure 4. If you're in single leg, you want to toe heel that back knee forward, planting the hands so that you can bring that right leg back around, coming into our tabletop here, taking any movements between sides, maybe finding that circling through the knees. My yoga mat is traveling away. Going on a little joyride. If you're on the back in figure 4, maybe dropping the knees side to side and little windshield wipers. And as you feel ready, setting up our pigeon on the other side. So for single-legged pigeon, with support, bringing that left foot forward over the bolster, toe heeling the left foot out towards the right, and then bringing that left knee forward, flexing through the left toes as you set the hips down onto your support here. That right leg is directly out behind you. Hips are squared, so the right hip is drawing forward, left hip is drawing back. You can also imagine like you're trying to squeeze the knees together. Or again, we've got that root lock, the mula bandha, the lift of the pelvic floor, the activation of the muscles in the perineum. It's all the same thing, just goes by a lot of different names. Taking your time to either stay up in a king pigeon, or if you'd like, using props, slowly bowing forward. And of course, you have the option from the back, extending the left leg up towards the sky, flexing the toes back, externally rotating through the left toes, and then bending the knee, crossing it over the right. Finding that opening here. You could stay there or start to draw that knee in towards the chest. You could interlace the hands, or you could rest the right foot on a prop. Don't feel like you have to do the same exact thing on one side versus the other. We do have imbalances, asymmetries in the body through
injuries, through our holding patterns. Just sometimes it's just the way we're built. Sometimes we just tend to be stiffer on one side versus the other. Typically, our dominant side tends to be a little more stiff because it gets more use. But every body is different. That's why I like to give so many options so that you can find what works for you in that moment. Take your time. Find your breath. Feel into the body. Notice where you can relax and release in the upper body, in the neck, and the shoulders. If you're in your single-legged pigeon, check in with that mindful engagement through the hips, the lift of the pelvic floor. Again, that's just to protect, to bring in some stability so that we're not just dumping weight into our hip joints, into that left knee. Three more rounds of breath here. Beautiful work. As you feel ready, if you're in your single-legged pigeon, slowly start to make your way up if you're bowed forward. And you can toe heel that back foot forward. And then as you plant the hands, drawing that left leg back, coming back to tabletop, taking any movements between sides. If you're in reclined pigeon, uncrossing through the legs, maybe taking some windshield wipers with the legs. Just taking any movements that would feel good. And then when you feel ready, we're just going to meet in a seated position. Just going to do a little bit of love for the neck before we settle into our Yoga Nidra practice. So finding a comfortable seat. Maybe it's a little too tall. So you can sit on a block, you can sit on a blanket. That little lift in the booty helps you create a little more space in the hips. If it doesn't feel good to be sitting on the ground, you could sit on a chair, you could sit on a couch, you could extend through the legs, whatever feels good for you. But we want to be able to get a solid foundation, really connecting down to the sits bones so that we can lengthen up through the crown of the head, sitting up nice and tall. Soften in the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, drop the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Opening up through the left side of the neck. Breathing into that space you're creating here. Awesome work. As you feel ready, we're just going to simply turn the nose down towards the shoulder. So that head is still cocked to the right, but then that turning down takes it from the side of the neck to more of the back of the neck, that sensation there. Awesome work. One more deep inhale. Exhale, drop the chin down towards the chest. Let the head hang heavy. Let the shoulders melt down the back.
As you feel ready, on an inhale, draw a line with the nose, up towards neutral, sitting up nice and tall, lengthen up. Exhale, drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, opening up through the right side of the neck. Breathe into that space you're creating. Encourage a release of any tension or tenderness, allowing a dropping of any excess weight you're carrying around on the shoulders. The neck and shoulders, as well as low back and hips, are a very common place for us to store our tension, store our pent-up energy, store our emotions. When you're ready, leaving the head cocked to the side, just drop the nose down towards the shoulder, taking that stretch to the back of the neck. Staying very mindful here, especially if you have some tenderness in the neck. And as you feel ready, nice and slow, staying aware of the neck, we want to find some extension through the throat, the front side of the neck, and a lift in the chin without crunching through the back neck. So we're going to gently start to draw a line with the nose, up towards center, looking up and then down towards the other shoulder. Just take a few little rainbow moves like that. Awesome work. And then dropping the chin down towards the chest, rolling the head from one side to the other. So kind of a reverse rainbow. Beautiful work. Slowly making your way back towards neutral. And now we'll start to get ourselves in position for our Yoga Nidra. So as I said, this is a guided meditation, and it's going to kind of lead us into Shavasana. It'll probably take up most of the time of class. So at the end, you're welcome to stay in it for an extended Shavasana, as I wrap up class. So get as comfortable as possible. Put layers of clothes on or take layers off if that feels more comfortable. You can lay out on a blanket. You can wrap yourself up in a blanket. You can use props to support you in any way. But you want to be as comfortable as possible so that you can release and relax and not worry about fidgeting and getting comfortable again. So you can stay seated if you are like me and tend to fall asleep in meditation. It's not as relaxing, but if that helps you, if you really want to make an effort to stay awake. Yoga Nidra does translate to yoga sleep. So, we're napping our way to enlightenment, is a joke amongst the Nidra community. But if you'd like, lie yourself down. Maybe find an incline. You could lean against, a couch or a wall. You can, if you're lying back, you can bring pillows underneath the knees. Just set yourself up in whatever way you feel like you can fully relax, fully release. And you may want to close the eyes. You could even cover the eyes. And as you start to settle in, just know that if you fall asleep, that's okay. If you tune out my voice, that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Nothing is supposed to happen, and nothing is not supposed to happen. So just let it be what it is. As you get yourself nice and comfy, start to settle into stillness. Give
yourself a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice audible sighs, a good cue for the mind and the body to relax, to release. Maybe a few more nice deep in through the nose, out through the mouth. With each breath, allowing yourself to sink deeper and deeper into your own relaxation. Allowing your body to be fully held and supported in this space. Give yourself permission to fully give everything to this practice. To fully relax, to fully release. Start to bring attention to your external surroundings. Any sounds, sensations, smells, sights. Become aware of the temperature of the room against your skin. Aware of the feeling of the cloth of your clothing against your skin. Allow yourself to become aware of all the sensations around you. With the eyes closed, visualize your body resting, becoming aware of your own physical presence. Our intention or sankalpa for this practice is to find inner peace and deep relaxation. If you would like to add anything else to that, take a moment to create a little mantra, a little intention, stated in present form, such as, I have inner peace within me. Or I am deeply relaxed. If you find the mind to start to wander, come back to that intention, that mantra. Starting to move your awareness deeper inward. And start to visualize your own little sanctuary. Perhaps it's a place that you've already been to that brings you peace and happiness. Perhaps it's a place you've seen in your dreams, or perhaps it's one you're creating right now. Perhaps there is a person there with you, or maybe you're by yourself. As you continue to envision this sanctuary, this safe haven, allow the feelings of security, of calmness, and of love to sink into every molecule in your body. Spend one last moment visualizing this place, this inner sanctuary, this inner peace, knowing that it is always there for you to come back to through this practice or throughout your daily life. Bringing your awareness back to your body. Feel into all of the areas that are touching the earth. Feel the sensation of the floor, of the props, anything that is supporting you. I will lead you through a body scan. It may be tempting as I name off each body part to bring movement there. Simply allow yourself to observe sensation. Bring awareness to your eyes. Lids heavy. Maybe the added weight of a mask or eye covers. Bring awareness to your nose, the sensation of the breath flowing in and out. Bring awareness to the mouth. To your ears. Awareness to the face as a whole. Bring your awareness to the top of the head, the back of your head, the right side of your head, the left side of your head. Allow your awareness to expand to include the head as a whole. Feel into the sensations in your throat, to the back of the neck. Down to the shoulders. Let awareness travel down to your biceps and triceps. Down over the elbows. Your awareness spread to your forearms, down to the wrists, become aware of the backs of your hands, palms of your hands. Feel into your thumbs, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky fingers. Bring awareness to your hands as a whole. Become aware of just your right arm. Just your left arm. both arms together. Allowing your awareness to travel down towards the chest and the upper back, down through your trunk and mid-back, down towards the belly and the low back, feeling the rise and fall of the breath. Feeling aware of the pelvis and the hips. Letting your awareness travel to the right glute, down to the right thigh and hamstring, continuing down towards the right knee. Expand your awareness down towards the right shin and calf, to your right ankle, right heel, the bottom of the right foot, the top of the right foot. Extending out through your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and right pinky toe. Feel into the right foot, whole right leg. Allow your awareness to travel to the left hip, the left glute, melting down towards the left thigh and hamstring. Over the left knee, down to the left shin and calf, down your left ankle, allow awareness to travel to the left heel, bottom of the left foot, top of the left foot, expanding out the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. Feel the whole left foot, feel the whole left leg. Feel into both legs together. Extend your awareness to the sensations in the right side of the body. And just the left side of the body. experience both sides of the body as one whole. Feel your entire physical presence. Sense of entirety of your whole body at the same time. And bring your awareness to your breath. Again, feeling the breath entering the body through the nostrils and releasing the body or the breath through the mouth. Follow the breath as it moves into the chest and down into the belly. And follow the breath as it moves out of the belly, up the chest and out. Feel enlivened by each inhale and relaxed by each exhale. Feel each breath as energy entering and leaving the body. Without judgment or trying to change anything, acknowledge any feelings or emotions that are currently in your body. Any sensations that arise, any thoughts that come into your awareness. Become awareness itself. Become extremely aware of all things in this moment. Simply welcome, recognize, and witness all things in this moment, simply as awareness itself. As we make our way out of our Yoga Nidra practice, I invite you to pass by for one moment that place of inner peace, revisiting that sanctuary, the safe haven within you that is always there, always accessible to you. You one last time to come back to the intention or mantra you set through this practice. In a moment, we will be ending our Yoga Nidra practice. And because we have practice experiencing ourself as pure awareness, you may find yourself moving back into your everyday life with clarity, purpose, and focus. You may find a deeper, more relaxing sleep this evening. You may even find answers to your questions with more compassion for yourself and for others. Through our practice of experiencing ourselves through and as awareness, our lives may become richer and more vibrant. And a continued strengthening of that ability to find that inner peace, that deep relaxation within ourselves. I will count down from 5, and that will signal the end of our Yoga Nidra practice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yoga Nidra is complete. You are welcome to stay here for as long as feels right for you. As long as you can gift yourself this time. And you feel ready to gently wake yourself up, find some gentle movement, move with compassion, move with intention, move with mindfulness. I thank you for allowing me to share this practice with you. And I hope that you have a beautiful and peaceful rest of your day. If you would like, wherever you are, bring the hands to heart center or any other meaningful gesture with the hands. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I see you, I honor you, and I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you again so much. If you are in a position where you would like to donate, I have left a link to my Venmo to donate to this class and to all future classes. They are very much welcome and accepted. However, if you are needing this as a gift tonight, I am happy to gift this to you. And thank you so much. Join me every Monday night at 6, as well as Sundays at noon. Hope to see you soon. Take care.